Welcome back, everyone, to a story that's been whispered in hushed tones for centuries. Today, we're re-delving into the chilling legend of the Lancaster family and their infamous vaulter, place of immense wealth that supposedly carried a deadly curse, wiping out one generation after another. Is it just a tragic coincidence, or is there something more sinister at play? Let's unlock the secrets of the Lancaster family vault. Our story begins in the 17th century with Sir John Lancaster, a man known for his ruthless ambition and a knack for acquiring wealth through questionable means. He was a merchant, a privateer, some even say a pirate, who amassed a fortune so vast it was the envy of the entire region. But Sir John wasn't a man who trusted banks or kings. He believed the only way to protect his treasure was to build a tomb for it, a final resting place, not just for him, but for his gold, jewels, and priceless artifacts. He commissioned the construction of an elaborate family vault on his sprawling estate. It wasn't just a simple crypt. It was a fortress built into the earth with intricate locks, hidden mechanisms, and traps designed to deter any would-be thieves. Locals who worked on its construction spoke of strange symbols etched into the stone and of Sir John performing bizarre, secretive rituals within its walls before it was sealed. The legend says he bound his own spirit to the vault, vowing that his wealth would remain with his bloodline, but that anyone who took from it without earning their place would pay the ultimate price. When Sir John passed away, he was interred in the vault, surrounded by his earthly treasures. The responsibility of safeguarding the family fortune fell to his only son, Thomas Lancaster. Thomas was a different man from his father, kinder, more generous, and perhaps a bit naive. He saw the vault not as a sacred tomb, but as a resource. Facing financial difficulties with the estate, Thomas decided to withdraw a small portion of the gold to settle his debts. He entered the vault, following the complex instructions his father had left him. The moment he laid his hands on the gold coins, a sudden, unnatural chill filled the air. The torches flickered wildly, and he heard what sounded like a low, guttural whisper echoing from the stone walls. Shaken, he quickly took what he needed and resealed the vault. Within a week, a mysterious illness took hold of him. Doctors were baffled. He withered away, his skin turning pale and his eyes sinking deep into their sockets. His last words were, reportedly, "The gold ... it's cold. It burns." He died, leaving the estate and the cursed vault to his young son. This tragic event marked the beginning of a horrifying pattern. Each successive generation of the Lancaster family seemed to meet a grim and untimely end. Thomas's son William grew up hearing the whispers about the curse. He was a skeptic, a man of science and reason. He dismissed the stories as old wives' tales, blaming his father's death on an unknown disease. When he came of age, he decided to open the vault to catalogue the family's assets, believing it was his duty as the head of the family. He entered with 2 trusted servants. As they began to lift a heavy chest filled with silver, one of the massive stone doors inexplicably slammed shut, trapping one of the servants inside. Panic ensued. It took them hours to pry the door open, but when they did, the servant was found lifeless, his face frozen in an expression of pure terror. There were no marks on his body. William, horrified, abandoned the cataloguing effort and sealed the vault once more. A few years later, he was killed in a bizarre hunting accident. A stray shot from an unknown source struck him down in his prime. The curse, it seemed, had claimed another victim. The Lancaster line continued to dwindle. The next heir, a young woman named Eleanor, was terrified of the family legacy. She refused to even go near the vault. She married into another family, hoping to escape the curse by changing her name and leaving the estate behind. For a while, it seemed to have worked. She lived a relatively peaceful life, though she was always plagued by nightmares of a dark, cold crypt and a shadowy figure guarding a mountain of gold. However, the curse wasn't so easily cheated. Her eldest son, who carried the Lancaster blood, grew into a reckless and greedy young man. Hearing tales of the legendary treasure from his mother's past, he became obsessed. He travelled to the now abandoned Lancaster estate, determined to claim what he believed was his birthright. He managed to break into the vault, bypassing the ancient locks. He was never seen again. When authorities finally investigated, they found the vault wide open. The treasure was untouched, but at the center of the chamber were the man's scattered remains, as if he had been torn apart by some unseen force. By the early 20th century, the Lancaster family name had all but vanished. The estate had fallen into ruin, and the story of the cursed vault became a local ghost story, a tale told to frighten children. The last known direct descendant was a distant cousin, a historian named Arthur Finch, who had studied his family's dark history extensively. He believed the curse was real, but he didn't think it was supernatural. He theorized that Sir John Lancaster, being a clever and paranoid man, had laced the treasure, or the very air within the vault, with some kind of slow-acting, odorless poison derived from rare plants he'd acquired in his travels. The curse was simply a brilliant, centuries-old defense mechanism. Determined to prove his theory and put the legend to rest, Arthur organized a small scientific expedition in the 1950s. Equipped with modern breathing apparatus and protective gear, he and his team entered the Lancaster vault. The air was thick and musty, and an oppressive silence hung over the chamber. The treasure was still there, gleaming in the light of their lamps, a testament to Sir John's immense wealth. As they began taking air and dust samples, their equipment started to malfunction. Radios crackled with static, and their lights flickered erratically. One of the team members suddenly screamed, pointing into the darkness. He swore he saw a tall, shadowy figure standing by Sir John's sarcophagus, its eyes glowing with a faint, malevolent light. Arthur tried to calm his team, attributing the vision to nerves and the strange atmosphere. But then they all heard it aid a deep, resonant voice that seemed to come from the very stones around them, whispering a single word: mine. Chaos erupted. The team fled in terror, scrambling out of the vault and sealing it behind them. They abandoned all their equipment inside. Arthur Finch was deeply shaken. His scientific theory couldn't explain the shared hallucination or the disembodied voice. He never returned to the vault. In his final written account, he concluded that whether it was poison, a lingering spirit, or a powerful psychological suggestion passed down through generations, there was a palpable malevolence connected to that place. He warned that the Lancaster treasure was not meant for the living, and that the vault should remain sealed forever. And so it has. To this day, the Lancaster estate lies in ruins, overgrown and forgotten by most. The vault remains sealed, its secrets and its immense cursed fortune locked away in the dark. Locals claim that on moonless nights you can still see a faint light emanating from the hillside where the vault is buried, and sometimes, if you listen closely, you can hear the faint whisper of a long-dead privateer still guarding his haunted treasure. What do you think? Is it a ghost story, a clever trap, or something else entirely? Let me know your theories in the comments below. Thanks for joining me on this journey into the darkness. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss our next exploration of history's most chilling mysteries. Stay curious and stay safe.